Hello and welcome to the City of Sydney's Reboot webinar series. My name is Kate Pearden and I'm your host for this special series. I've been your host all year, and we have today and next week as our final two sessions for the year. Now, before we begin our session today, I'd like to acknowledge and pay respect to traditional owners of the land on which each of us meet. As we share knowledge and learning today, may we also pay respect to the knowledge embedded forever with the Aboriginal custodianship of country. Now, the Reboot webinar series, it's focused on practical, actionable insights for businesses to thrive across these three phases of business: run, grow, and adapt. And Fee session today is absolutely covering off all of these three things. Um, you may have been around for Reboot for the last 5 years because it came in 2020 in the COVID-19 lockdown, um, and has been continuing over the past 5 years. So this year, if this is your first one, welcome. We do present them in two sets of 5 blocks of webinars. So we're now on the second one for the year, and this is our second last one. So how to nail your pricing today, and next week's session on SEO is going to wrap up the year. But you can watch the recordings and we'll tell you how to do that. Now, each session, it has a guest speaker. Today we have the wonderful Fee joining us, and it's all about these tips that will help you to thrive in your business and things you can apply straight away. Make sure you have somewhere to take notes, notebook, pen, computer, wherever. And there's also, I recommend that you have your phone close by that you can take some photos of slides that you love. So this series, big thank you to City of Sydney. It's also proudly supported by Service New South Wales Business Bureau. We're going to pop a link in the chat about how you can find out more about the Business Bureau, and you can get free, independent, tailored business advice, which is so fantastic to have this service. I'm not sure if it's someone you've come across before, Fee, but
It's amazing. It's
it
just
is
fantastic to see so many business owners here, and for it to be supported by any level of government is fantastic, in my opinion.
absolutely. So let me tell you what to expect in this next hour. We're going to have about 15-20 minutes of education and then some case studies of how people have applied the theory that Fee's talking about today. So as I said, it's really, really practical. You'll notice there's a webinar chat, which I'm loving seeing the comments coming through here. That's just for your comments as we go through the session. There's also a Q&A box, which is down the bottom. Click Q&A, and that's where you put your questions for us to answer at the end. We may type you an answer. When I say we, it will be either myself or Cynthia, our webinar admin, or I might poll them together for questions for Fee at the end. We do our best to get through them, but we had 100 last week. So sometimes I'll
We'll do our
combine them.
best.
Yes. Now, reminder, PowerPoint is not shared after, but there is a recording. So if something Thursday, 5 o'clock, by then you'll have the recording in your inbox. And you can also watch the last 5 years of replays. But the best thing people have told me is that they take a photo of the slides that they love, because then it's immediately there and you can apply it straight away. There is the links in the chat to how you can access the previous session. Now, this session, our fourth session, has always been sales focused. However, you may have signed up right at the very beginning where we had a different presenter planned, Jacob Sutton. We're now fortunate to have Fee Johnston from Peach joining us as our special guest. And she's talking about how to nail your prices. Now, why are we talking about prices specifically in our sales specific webinar? Because nothing, and I say nothing, has the ability to impact your business more than your pricing. And if that has been a light bulb already, strap in. Let me tell you a bit about the wonderful Fee, who is our guest expert today. I was fortunate to meet Fee a couple of years ago in a mastermind type session, and you probably have not met anyone quite like Fee before. She's a chartered accountant who's all about impact. So she's a founder of Peach Business, the Good Money Club, has a Money Secrets podcast, and also a festival called Ripple Festival. You'll notice even in this 1 hour that she's a creative person, she's passionate, and she's a kind money strategist who makes people feel differently about money. So this is not your accountant session. We did that earlier in the year. This is about sort of more about how you approach money and how you approach pricing. Fee is obsessed with small business, as you'll see. And when she talks about money, it really hits differently. So if you feel a bit yuck about money, I guarantee you'll feel a bit different at the end of today. Um, some of the things from today are also in her Money Secrets podcast about nailing your pricing, but she's pulled all the gems to hit us in this next 55 minutes. So at the end, we'll have about 15 minutes for questions. You can pop those in the Q&A box as we go along. And so try and separate your questions from the chat and the Q&A box, because we've got hundreds, probably thousands of comments in the webinar chat, and it's hard for me to find them. Okay. One other thing with the webinar chat, please keep on target or on topic. Because we have so many people here, we really want to focus on the gems of this topic. So please, no self-promotion sharing in the chat. We really want to work this on how to nail your pricing. If by chance something's a little bit off what we need in the webinar chat, or it's being distracting, Cynthia will just send you a quick message to say, hey, let's focus on how to nail our pricing, because we've got so many people here today. We really want to make the most of this. All right, Fee, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Tell
Shall I
us
take it
now.
from here?
Oh, one last thing, sorry.
Oh, sorry.
One last bit of admin. Because we have so many people joined, we can't respond to raising hands. So I will pop those down. There's two ways you can contact the webinar chat or the Q&A box. All right, Fee, over
I
to you.
fully support people moving their hands while watching, though. Anything that's going to keep you awake. So thank you for the awesome introduction, Kate. And Cynthia, who's also there. Just want to say this is a really great program that you're running, and I'm really happy to be part of it. Thank you for the acknowledgement of country. I also want to just acknowledge that we are on Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander land, and it has never been ceded. Now, small business owners are my absolute favourite people, and I love that this Reboot program is about helping small businesses, creatives, and retailers learn, innovate, and grow. We have to innovate and we have to grow if we want to stay in business. It's not something that we get to choose. We actually have to keep constantly changing and innovating what we are doing. Now, today, the topics that I want to really get in the guts with you is overcoming undercharging and overservicing. I want to show you how to break down your income goals. And I think some of the visuals from today may stay with you longer than a screenshot. That is my goal, is that we're actually going to get into the brain synapses and help you have things to visualize about your pricing. I want to remind you that your price sets the perception of quality for your customers. I want you to think about how important your ideal client is when thinking about your pricing. And then I want to give you a few little pointers as to how to actually present your prices so that you can get somebody to say yes, which is what we want. So let's start with undercharging. I think we might have a little poll here.
Yes.
To kick us off. This is a participatory session, everyone. Want to keep you awake. So tell me what your answer to these questions is. Are you making as much money as you would like to in your business right now?
Now, if you can't see the poll, it might be that you haven't updated to the latest Zoom. And so if that's the case, there's plenty of people that will answer for you, so you can just be a passenger on this one, and we'll chat you through the answers if by chance you can't see it.
Okay, shall we keep going and let people answer as they wish?
All right, let's roll.
Okay. And I'll just let you tell me when the poll is done.
Well, let me give you 3 more seconds, and we've got plenty to cover. So
Okay.
we've got 70% answer, and you just have to be faster next time.
Okay, we got some answers. Oh, here it is. Okay. Oh, okay, this is what I suspected. So we've got 53% of people saying, no, I can't seem to work out how to make more money. And we have 32% of people saying my cash flow is always really stressful. Just want to show some love for all of you dealing with cash flow issues. They are one of the hardest parts of being a business. But the cool thing is we can actually change it. And that's part of what we're going to be doing today, which is really exciting. And hello to the 1% of people who are super happy with how much money they're making. Chef's kiss. So let's talk about undercharging. Most small business owners undercharge. I've been a chartered accountant for 25 years. I've had my business for 15 years. I know I only look like I'm 16, Just kidding. But almost
Cheeky.
almost every single business owner I've ever worked with was undercharging. And a big part of this, especially for women, although this, of course, goes across all of the genders, is that often we have this mindset issue that comes up around pricing that we want to be liked by our clients. And we have this idea that if our prices are affordable, people will like us more. And this is something that I want you to sit with in this webinar is, are you actually taking your prices to your clients with this idea that you want them to like you, and being affordable is the way to do that? Because actually your price doesn't influence the likability of your clients as much as you think it does. And another thing to consider is the goal of being in business is not about having our clients like us, although that can be a lovely secondary benefit. The goal of being in business is to be valued and to be valuable to our clients. Another reason why a lot of businesses aren't charging enough is because we actually haven't connected up what our price needs to be with our income goal, right? So some of you may have revenue goals, some of you may not, some of you might just be kind of winging it. But what we really need to think about is, how does my price impact my revenue as a whole? And I also am going to give you some pointers around how to make goal setting easier when it comes to making money. The other thing to think about is that we really need to understand the time and the cost, whether that's hours or dollars, of delivering our products and services, because we want to set sustainable prices that actually allow us to keep going in business. And if you're undercharging, you will have trouble continuing on in business, right? The other side of the undercharging coin is called overservicing. We need a club called Overservicing Anonymous, because honestly, this is a huge issue in small business. So you might tell me, hey, Fee, I am pricing my products and services at a premium, but are you actually delivering what you say you are going to deliver? Or are you over delivering because you just really want people to like you and you really want to do a good job? And you really want to deliver the absolute best that you can, but you're not prepared to actually put the price tag next to the level of delivery that you want to deliver. So overservicing and undercharging have the same effect, which is that you will be earning less revenue in your business as a result. So I meet a lot of small business owners who really want to deliver these amazing experiences and amazing products. And I love that about us as small business owners, but we need our prices to reflect what we're delivering, right? Rather than delivering the gold service with the bronze or silver pricing. Hopefully this is resonating with people. I'm not watching the chat, I'm trying to be very focused. So here's something that sounds a little corporate, but it's actually really great to get your head around, is this concept of product market fit. So one area where small business owners really struggle is achieving this concept of product market fit. So product market fit is where what we are including actually matches the price that we are asking for. So your product or service inclusions might determine the quality, the level of inclusion, maybe the level of edits, the level of rounds of revision, the level of, X, Y, or Z that's included. It might be about the value that you're delivering. It might be about the speed of your product or service. So in some instances, fast is more valuable. For example, if we want something kind of really quickly, like I need to get on a flight tomorrow, just get me the fastest flight. Or it might be that in some instances, slow is better and more valuable, because slow often indicates depth. So if we are particularly a service provider, often going deeper and being slower and taking longer can actually be valuable for your clients. So we want to think about what are all of the inclusions or the scope or the deliverables that we want to include in our product or service. And then we need to actually showcase that by using our price. So your price is this huge part of indicating the level of quality, the value, the desirability, and the demand. Now, small business owners often forget that what we really need to do is build demand. Sometimes our products and services already come with inbuilt demand. Like if you're a cafe on the main street of Bondi, pretty sure there's demand. But if you're a cafe on the main street of a much quieter suburb, you might actually have to build demand through your marketing and your business development or however you're doing things. So people aren't going to buy your product and service just because it's awesome. They're going to buy your product and service because they know about it, they want it, and they can see, oh my gosh, this actually looks like exactly the level of quality that I am looking for. So product market fit is this really sweet spot where what you are delivering matches the price that your clients want to pay, and you can actually deliver it at the right amount. So you're not over servicing, you're not undercharging, but you're also delivering what your clients actually want. This is a little visual. A lot of my clients in the past have found this very helpful. So there's only two ways to make more money. And this is annoyingly simple. It's one of those things that's annoyingly simple, right? You can only make more money by either selling more or charging more. That's it. We could probably just end the webinar here. So essentially, you can increase your revenue by selling more of whatever it is that you sell, or you can increase your revenue by increasing your price. Now, what a lot of business owners do is they play with this lever and they're like, if only I could just find more customers, if only I could just sell more coffees, if only I could get more clients to deliver my social media services to. But actually, this is the smart choice. So when we increase our price, we can actually earn the same amount of money by working with less clients. And that is one of the biggest reasons to think about why increasing your price is actually a smarter and faster way of increasing your revenue than increasing your volume. So here's an example of how to break your income down into these two levers of price and volume. So let's say you're a freelancer or whatever you choose to call yourself, you're a solo service provider, you have 1,000 hours a year to bill your clients. That number might be the most valuable thing that you learn today. And just trust me, that is the number. One of the issues that we have as service providers is we actually think we have a lot more hours in the year than we do. And that's why we often don't hit our revenue targets, because we don't actually have as many hours as we think we do. So 1,000 hours is for a full-time person. If you're working part-time in your business, like a lot of parents are, you might find that your billable hours per year are actually 600 or 800 or perhaps even lower, right? So when you understand how many hours you have per year and you know what your annual revenue target is, you can actually really simply work backwards to say, well, if I want to earn 100K and I've got 1,000 hours a year, I need to be billing $100 an hour for every hour that I'm working for my clients.
Every hour.
Not just some of them.
Yeah, when I looked at this and it was like 1,000 hours, and then I did the maths, I was like, yep, trust you on that. Because I think people compare it to a full-time job where it's 52 weeks a year, but you take out 4 weeks of leave, 2 weeks of sick leave, public holidays, all those things. And then, yeah.
Yeah. So that calculation, for anyone who likes details, is roughly half of your working week will be spent working for clients, and the other half will be spent bringing in clients, doing your bookkeeping, business development, training and development, all of those other things, and the leave that we actually need as business owners. It's a really, really good number to get your head around. And it makes it much easier to work out how to get to your revenue goal as well. Now, if you are a product-based business, it's a little bit more complicated, but still very doable. Most e-commerce or product businesses are looking at what is my average order size. Then you can work out how many orders per week do I need to get to, however many trading weeks of the year you have. and that's going to help you work out how to get to your goal. So if you know that your revenue goal is 500 and you know that your average order size is this, you can play with these numbers to work out, am I going to get to 500,000 by increasing my average order size, which would be my advice if possible, or do I want to increase the number of orders per week? And I will tell you that even though it feels hard, increasing the average order size or increasing the hourly rate or increasing the price you charge for a retainer or however you charge, putting these numbers here doesn't mean you charge by the hour. Some of you do, some of you don't. It's more about understanding, how do I get to the number that I want to get to? So you tell me when our next poll is, but I feel like maybe it might be soon.
Let's launch it.
Okay, great.
All right. So hopefully this has popped up for you now. What do you think about your pricing and delivery? Now, if you're watching the recording, you won't see these polls pop up, which is why we chat you through the answers. So your options are: I'm undercharging, or I'm over-servicing or over-delivering, I'm undercharging and over-servicing, or my price matches the quality I'm offering. We're only going to give you 10 more seconds. There's a lot of fast voters here. We've done 40% so far.
Ah, go
Well,
team.
while you're popping that through, there was a quick question about your last slide fee. Are we suggesting 1,000 hours is just the billable hours declines,
Yeah,
or total hours worked, including the admin? That's just billable.
just billable. Yeah,
Yes.
because we don't make money when we're doing admin.
And Rebecca, if I think I'm overcharging, we'll get to that.
If you're overcharging, there's no such thing as overcharging in my world. But yes, I'd love to answer a question about that later for sure.
All right, 5 more seconds. We've got 70% voted.
Woohoo, people are awake
Oh,
and
yes.
interacting. I love it.
All right, let's end this poll and have a look at our results. I've popped them up on the screen now.
All right, 20% of us are overcharging, 21% of us are over servicing or over delivering, 39%, the largest number, feel that they might be undercharging and over servicing. Okay, we've got some big changes to make after this session. And love it, 20% of people on the call feel that their price matches the quality they're offering. Okay, love it. Okay, so let's talk about how your price is part of your positioning. Some of you on the call, I'm sure, will be marketers or will be familiar with some of these marketing terms, but let's talk about how our pricing interacts with our positioning as a business. So if your prices are too low, you will be telling people that you're cheap. You will be telling people that your products and services are not high quality. Your price is a huge part of how your client perceives the value that you have included. So consider something that you saw recently. A good example is, like, let's say a dress. If you see a dress that is a really low price, maybe for some of you it's like, oh, cool, that's, great, that's what I'm looking for. But I think for the majority of consumers who are looking for a premium garment, if the garment is too low in price, it indicates that either it was made in unethical conditions, or it's not very high quality, or there's something about it, like maybe other people didn't like this one, therefore I don't want it either. And that it's probably only going to last a few wears, right? As opposed to this dress that I'm wearing was actually made in Sydney by a brand called Made 590. So they're a New South Wales brand. They make their clothing in Australia. I think I bought this dress about 5 years ago. I've worn it so many times and it still looks brand new because it's a quality garment. And so I'm looking for a garment that is going to last a really long time, and I'm willing to pay extra because it's made in Australia. Now, I'm not saying that's what all consumers are, but if you're looking for premium clients, your price is going to help them decide whether or not you are premium. And you will find that if you are pricing yourself really low because you want to be affordable or because you think that's going to help people to like you more, I can guarantee that the ideal client has jumped onto your website, had a look at your price, and decided something about this is off, because savvy buyers know what prices they expect to pay. They might not know it exactly, but they've got at least an idea of what something should be charged at. So that's something that might be a little hard to hear, that sometimes pricing yourself too low is actually losing you clients, even though you might think that it's going to be winning you clients. So, as I said, pricing is a major signal for quality. Pricing below market value can suggest that it's low quality. Even if it's not, you might have the most amazing social media marketing. You might have the most amazing coffee in Sydney. You might have the most amazing, I don't know, cruise ship experience on the harbour. But if you're priced lower than other competitors, people will look at that and make a decision that it must be low quality. But how we actually get people to see the value that we have on offer is through our branding, marketing, and communication, right? So, as Kate said earlier, this session was around sales, and you might be thinking, why is an accountant delivering a session about pricing? Because pricing is a huge part of how we actually make money, and how we do that is through having great branding, marketing, and communication. And communication can be as simple as what's written on the product page of your website. And what's really amazing is that when you actually confidently ask for more with your price, the right client is always going to say yes. So when I say the right client, that's about positioning yourself for a very particular client. We don't actually want everybody to want what we've got, unless you are Amazon or you are Coles or you are BP and you want everybody to be your customer. If you are looking for high quality clients so that you can deliver a high quality product or service, we actually need to price ourselves high enough. And building the confidence to do that comes from taking action. You can't think your way to being more confident. You actually have to do stuff like put the price on the proposal, or put the price on the register, or put the price on, your product page on your website. So this is something I want you to really think about after today as well. Nothing impacts your financial outcome more than your pricing. So your future financial position and your current financial position are impacted so much by your pricing. There aren't many things in business that impact you more than your price. And every time you present your price, you're making a financial decision. And it might be a decision you're not even putting that much thought into. And what I see is that small business owners just overlook this critical component of their finances and their revenue. And also that I've never met a small business owner who was just trying to be average. So I can't see you, but consider, am I somebody who started my business because I just wanted to be mediocre or average? I don't think so. We started our small businesses because we wanted to do something amazing. We wanted to be really good at what we do. We wanted to serve the best coffee or give people the best cruise experience on the harbour or be the best social media agency in New South Wales, right? Those are the kind of goals that small business owners have. We want to create impact through our work. And in order to do this successfully, we need to price our products and services at a premium so that then we can deliver the premium that we actually want to. And this mismatch between what we want to do for our clients and what we are doing for our clients is a really big source of dissatisfaction in business. So if you're feeling dissatisfied with the work that you're doing or the product that you're delivering, that could be a signal to you that it's worth reviewing. How does my price actually impact my satisfaction levels with my business? This is a sentence that, again, I want to really get into your synapses. Feel free to screenshot this or any of the slides, but I want to let you know that it is not your job to be affordable. It's just not your job. Small businesses are not made to be affordable. Like, it's almost impossible for a small business to be affordable. We can leave this concept of being affordable to the multinationals and the companies that rely on scale to be affordable. So, just for a really simple example of this, if you are an e-commerce provider, your postage costs will be so much higher than a huge company, right? So that's just a very simple example. Like, do you think Amazon or any of the big kind of e-commerce businesses are paying the same shipping rates as you? Absolutely not. They could be paying a quarter as much as you are because the volume and scale that they have. And if we multiply that across our whole business, we've got to see that we can't be trying to be affordable. We cannot compete against multinationals that have huge scale and huge efficiencies. What we need to focus on is the fact that small businesses are so good at these things. We are so good at being personalized, customized. We build relationships. We solve really tricky problems. We improve people's lives, right? I've never met a business owner who isn't doing something extraordinary, right? Small business owners are amazing. We're not just doing things that are easy. We are like, getting deep into the knowledge of our special area. We know our customers' children's names. Like, we are not multinationals who are just trying to make small margins on every transaction because there's a million of them happening a day, right? It's not our job to be affordable, but this is what your job is. Your job as a small business owner is to be valuable. And I want you to really take that into your week. Am I actually focusing on being valuable? And if you're using the word affordable in your mind, in your marketing, or on your website, please consider removing the word affordable altogether. Think we may have another poll here. You tell me.
It's launching right now.
Roll
Now,
time.
just a quick time check. We've got about 10 minutes before we head into Q&A, and I can see them rolling on in.
Thank you.
All right. So what are you aiming for with your prices in the pop-up? I'm trying to be affordable or accessible, or I'm just trying to get the sale. Option 3, I often give discounts, and option 4, I'm trying to be valuable. You've got 5 seconds to vote. And just a reminder, pop those questions. I know it's tempting to pop in the webinar chat, but please find the box that says Q&A and put them in there so I can find it. And because there's hundreds and hundreds of people on this call, I cannot answer to raised hands. So I'm very sorry. I will pop them down with care and respect. So pop
love the enthusiasm.
Love the enthusiasm. Pop your questions in the Q&A. Okay, I'm ending the poll in 3 seconds. All right.
Let's see. Okay, so I love this. All right, so 18% of you are trying to be affordable or accessible. Got that. 27% of you just trying to get the sale. I totally respect that. 9% of you are often giving discounts, and the highest proportion of people are trying to be valuable. I love it. Okay, you have got the memo that it is your job to be valuable. I want to hold space for people who are just trying to get the sale, but I want to encourage you to consider that you actually can still get the sale even at a higher price. And a big part of how to get more money from your clients is to really think about who your ideal client is. So what you want to think about with your product and services is, who is the client or the type of client that actually values what I do the most? Who has the most money to gain or time to save, or the most, wanting of the experience that you offer, right? So when we are talking to the right ideal client, getting a yes is a lot easier. So this is how to set your price. You want to think about how your price impacts your revenue using the 2 levers. We want to think about product market fit. So are we actually matching the product inclusions with the price that we are charging? And have we actually thought about who is the client who benefits from what we do the most? because they're the one that's going to be able to pay the highest price. I'm going to go through this bit quickly because it might not be relevant to all of you, but how you present your prices has a huge impact on how likely you are to get a yes from your client. So here we go. Here's how I recommend presenting your offers if you have the opportunity to present them in this way. We want to give people 3 offers because we don't want to give people too much choice, but we want to give them a choice. And when you give people 3 options and you explain really clearly how each one is different, you will find that 80% of your clients will buy this one. This works from choosing a bottle of wine to deciding on a software subscription to buying a house, right? A lot of us want to go for the middle ground because that fits with what we're looking for as a client. For some of you, I'd say a very small portion, we can also have an ascension pricing model where we start here and we move up the line in terms of trying to get our client to purchase something more each time. Really depends on your business model whether that would be suitable or not. And when it comes to testing your price, I don't care what anybody thinks about your price except for your ideal client. Don't care what your uncle thinks, your neighbor, your best friend, your husband, your wife. Unless they are your ideal client, I don't care what they think about your price. The only way to know whether somebody is happy to pay that price or not is to put the price in front of somebody who is an ideal client and see what they say. And it's even better if there's a, add to cart, because people can say they're interested in something, but it's a whole other thing to actually buy it. So let's talk through a couple of case studies, because I'm sure there's a few of you there who are feeling a bit skeptical about whether this stuff actually works. And am I just talking out my rear end, or does this stuff actually work in the real world? So I'm going to talk to you about a couple of New South Wales clients that I work with. So case study number 1. This business is a social media agency with a strong brand and high demand. When we started working together, they were charging an average of $1,500 a month to their clients. Over time, we introduced, I know this seems like a crazy jump, we introduced a $9,000 a month premium retainer for businesses that were ready to really scale their business using social media. So we presented 3 options and the top one was the $9,000 one. We updated their proposal to reflect these higher value retainers, and the marketing changed. We changed the words, we changed who the client was so that we were bringing the ideal type of client into the business. And within a year, they secured their first $9K a month retainer. I can tell you this client said to me, "Fee, you don't know what you're talking about. Nobody is going to pay $9,000 for this." And I said, "Just trust me." And after a year, they secured their first $9,000 a month client, and now they have multiple $9,000 a month clients. But what is most important is now their average monthly fee is $6,000 a month. So they can work with fewer clients and make a higher profit by securing ideal clients at premium prices. Second case study. This is a highly sought after interior designer with a team of 15 who design and manage really high quality fit outs. They manage heaps of projects at a time and they have dozens of tradies on the go building at the time. 7-figure business, multiple 7-figure business, in fact, but the profit was below 1%. And in fact, often they made a loss because there's so many things being juggled. Now, the main issue was over-servicing. So a lot of the work that was being done wasn't being captured in their quoting and invoicing process. So what did we do? We raised their prices by a whopping 25%. At the same time, we improved their marketing, their branding, and the communication. Did they lose clients over the price? Yes. Yes, sometimes they lost out because a particular client wasn't looking to pay that price. But you know what? Overall, their revenue increased significantly and their profitability now sits at around 10% or higher. So this is the power of increasing your price and holding firm to make sure that you actually get ideal clients into your business. Here's a couple of things you might like to screenshot. Here's my little lever one. So feel free to take a screenshot of this little baby. I think that's long enough, Kate.
Yep.
And you can take a screenshot of the next one along, which is a kind of wrap up of everything we've talked about today.
I do have one more poll feed. Do you want me to share that now?
Absolutely, please do.
All right. So this one's about if you've tried to increase your prices in the past. Because sometimes say I've tried it and it hasn't worked. So options are I didn't increase them even though I know I should, which, yeah, that's been me. Someone told me I was too expensive, so I went back to the old prices. Yeah, that's also been me. I tried to increase them, but I didn't get any sales, so I went back to the old prices. The fourth option, I successfully increased my prices and I haven't looked back. Woohoo! And I'm happy with my prices as they are. So I'll give you 5 more seconds. People are getting very good at knowing they've got to vote quickly on these. 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, the real mixed bag here, Fee. Let me share this.
I think that's the most mixed one, isn't it?
Mm.
So 27% didn't increase even though I knew I should. Now that's a bit of a money mindset issue, I would suggest, or a bit of a fear. Someone told me I was too expensive, so I went back to the old prices. Cool. We actually want people to say we're too expensive because we want to actually make ourselves available to the people who want what we've got. I tried to increase them but didn't get any sales, so I went back to the old prices. I hear this a lot. Probably what was missing is that your marketing and positioning didn't change with your prices. So you get to put whatever price you want on your thing, but your client gets to decide whether it's yes or no. And the reason to say yes or no will be about how you position yourself and how you market yourself.
And on
Love
that one,
this.
Fee, there's quite a few questions in the Q&A that is about that. Like I've put it out there and I didn't get any sales, so I went back to the old prices.
Okay, love it. We can expand on that.
Yeah.
So a quarter of you successfully increased prices and haven't looked back. Chef's kiss. And 10% of you are totally happy with your prices as they are. Love that. Okay, so that's our poll. This is the end of our session and we are ready for Q&A.
Great.
Would you like me to leave my screen on like this, Kate?
What I'd love you to do is, have you got on the next slide? Is there a next slide there? Yes,
Yep.
great. So I'm going to go into the Q&A in a moment. What we'd love is to get your feedback. You can see there's a QR code on the screen and also in the chat. It was from your feedback from last time that we've added in these sessions about pricing and sales, and next week's a session with SEO. So we love, love, love your feedback. So you can multitask and do that while I'll get into our Q&A. And just a reminder that next week's session is on how to get found on Google. So SEO Made Simple with Lauren Fraser, and there's a link in the chat for that as well. All right, Fee, I'm going to get you to stop sharing your screen so people can see the two of us. And let's have a look at these questions. We're not going to get through everyone, so I'm going to pick the ones that I think are going to have the biggest impact for the most amount of people.
Great. Hit me.
Just while I'm pulling these out, there's a couple of questions about that bronze, silver, gold slide again, if you can put that one back up. It's also called value-based pricing, if you're wanting to have a look a bit more about that.
Did you want me to put it up now?
If you could, and I'll grab you your questions. Great. And then just play from the current slide. Second, yeah, that's it. Thank you. Darren asks, how can I provide 3 price options as a tradie, a handyman?
Love that. Has people screenshotted that now? I'll turn it off.
Yep.
Okay. Hi, tradie. We really need you in the community, so thank you for being here. We love tradies. Look, essentially what you want to think about is, if depending on what your specialization is, you want to think about what is the thing that you want people to buy from you. So I'm just going to make up something. Let's say you do shower screens, right? So there's the repair of a shower screen, there's a brand new, really great shower screen, and there's a completely custom designed architectural level shower screen. So if the middle one is the one that you want people to buy from you, that's how you present your prices. So, yep, I could repair your shower screen for X price. I could get you a fantastic new one, which is really popular for this price. Or if you are looking for the absolute best shower screen there is, here's the option for you. So it comes down to knowing what your specialization is, and that option in the middle is the one that you want people to buy from you. It could also be based on speed of delivery. So think about a locksmith. Locksmiths definitely have multiple price options. If you want me to get there within an hour, it's going to cost this much. If you're happy to wait 24 hours, which who would be, but maybe, this is the price. So think about, is it about speed? Is it about level of quality? Or is it about something else? And the best way to find out is to ask your clients, by the way, tradie, what is it that you're looking for help with today? And noting what are the things that they're saying.
Wonderful. And I know when it comes to that value-based pricing, when you put that third option out there, it's not about whether they necessarily want to buy it. There's only a small percentage of people, as you said, buy it. But the third option could be a whole bathroom reno.
Yeah.
And people don't know what they want until it's offered to them. Actually, I have been thinking about a bathroom reno. If I'm going to do the shower screen, I might as well do it all.
Yes.
But unless you give them the option, how do you know?
They don't even know it's a thing. They
Yeah,
don't even know it's something you do unless you put it on your
exactly.
proposal or your website.
Help it make it easy for them to make a decision. And we've got a few questions. There was one about learning and development company and education, and the answer for all of those is the same as what Fee said for all
Yes.
of those industries.
Yeah. What do you want your clients to buy from you? That's what you put in the middle. The other two don't really matter as much.
Hmm. Now, there's a question here. This one is from Hugh, but I've got quite a few in the similar vein. That they're initially pricing work low and below the market to win the jobs, to get great Google reviews.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but then thinking, how do I get out of this? Or for Hugh's example, since increasing the prices, I'm not getting any sales through, so I'm struggling at the moment. What do I do?
Yeah. Okay, great. Thank you, Hugh. Thanks for sharing this one. Very common. So this idea of discounting when you first start there's nothing wrong with that strategy, but we need to have an end date on it, right? So when you're getting those first few clients, it's their Google review or their testimonial is actually more valuable than their dollars, right? So you want to think about, how am I actually capturing this testimonial or this review? Like, how can I actually get the most mileage out of it? So if you're discounting and underpricing in order to get the job, no problems, but make sure you're getting paid in really great testimonials. The issue with continuing with that strategy is you get more and more clients who are just looking for the cheapest option. Now, working with people who are just looking for the cheapest option can end up making you feel incredibly frustrated, because if your only way of winning business is to be constantly discounting, it's going to make it really difficult to run a business. So what you want to think about is, what is the type of client that I could work with or that I have worked with that really values what I do? And how do I reach them? What is my marketing approach to find that particular client? So marketing can be word of mouth, it can be local Facebook groups, it can be SEO, which you're learning about next session. SEO is amazing, by the way. I really think you should go to that session next session. Is your website actually bringing people in? Are you using Instagram? Are you using LinkedIn? Do you have a podcast? Like, what is your channel to finding your clients? And once you know which clients value what you do the most, that's how you're then going to start calling them in with your marketing, right? So you can actually say in your marketing and on your website, this is the sort of client that I work with, and this is the sort of client, the problem that I solve for them. So that's how to do it. It's marketing, branding, and communication. And anybody who's in business, I really hate to break it to you, but you have to become a marketer. It's actually non-negotiable, but you get to decide what kind of marketing feels like the best use of your time. Okay, so word of mouth is really popular in trades. And if you're relying on word of mouth, your website needs to be amazing so that when someone recommends you and then they go to your website, they're like, oh, I totally want to work with you. You seems awesome. So hopefully that answers the question. Thank
Right.
you, Hugh.
Now, Reggie, well done, Reggie. You're 18. Congratulations, you've just started a detailing business.
Woo!
Now, this one is about like how you're thinking about pricing, and I've picked it because I think it's going to apply to a lot of different people. So I know this is not your specific question for a lot of you, but think about how this could apply to you. So Reggie's just started a detailing business, and everyone pretty much just wants the all-around clean, but then some stain removal, etc. So really, 90% of clients just pick one service. So how do I go about the tier list? Because people are like, I'll go the cheap one, and then that's a crappy job, but really that's
Mm,
what they paid for.
okay. I think my answer might surprise you. Stop offering that service.
Oh,
Right? So people can only choose from what you present to them. And if one of the offers in your whatever it is, however you share your prices, if one of your offers actually sucks, just get rid of it. Right? And this takes courage. I don't want to downplay how hard it is to do something like this. But actually, if you want to do something different with your detailing business and you only want to do really high quality detailing work, the way to get that kind of work is to present that option in your pricing. And this aligns to any business that is kind of sick of people choosing the lowest option because it's actually not what you want to do for them, is actually to slide your prices up one, stop offering that low one that you're offering now, and move to a more premium offer. Now, the way to do that is through marketing, getting testimonials, asking people to recommend you, having a great website. All of those things are going to help support you to actually get people to book the more premium option. Okay. There are lots of ways to get found. You need to decide what is going to be your main channel. Is it like local Facebook groups? I would have thought would be a huge channel for a lot of trades and a detailing business. So make sure that you're, active in the local Facebook groups where people are looking for recommendations, but also make sure that you have some kind of web presence where people can go and find out about what this service is that you offer. And just keep going. The more confidence you get in delivering this amazing service, the easier it's going to be to sell it to somebody for the next time. Also, 18-year-old whose name I didn't catch,
Reggie?
Reggie, make sure that you are getting amazing photos of the really great quality detailing that you are doing, right? I know there's a whole like wormhole of like people watching cars be cleaned, right? Get into it, right? Make videos, take photos, get testimonials from your clients on video, like anything that you can do to humanize what you're doing. I imagine that a big target market for really high quality detailing would be mums who have a lot of kids that drop food in the car and don't have time to clean the car themselves. You can clean the car, they can have a coffee or do some work while you're doing that, and they're going to really value that high quality deep clean that you want to do for them, Reggie. So just
And
go
I
for
think
it.
even on that, and this applies to a lot of different people, think about it this way: subscription service, that person needs their car cleaned more than once. Can you do like your gold option might be a monthly clean, and it might be a
Love.
mobile service. You come to their house. I would love it if someone solved that problem for me every month.
Tick, tick, tick. Love that,
Yeah.
Kate. Reggie, go and do it.
Yeah.
I'm excited
Great
for
job.
you.
Reggie's written a thank you. Okay. So
Awesome. Thanks,
lots of
Reggie.
questions about your 9K a month option.
Yeah.
This
Okay.
was the case study about the
Yep.
boutique marketing business. So the questions are, how did you get to the figure? Why 9K? Why not 2K? Why not 20K? The market won't pay that. How do you know the market will pay it? A bunch of questions around that.
Okay. I love it. You can put whatever number you want on your proposal. Let's just put that out there. You could choose 50,000, you could choose 2,000, you could charge 10,000. It all comes down to understanding your client. So in that instance, I knew that the client that this agency could help the most was a product-based business that was an e-commerce business that was already had a really established brand, and they didn't want to be doing the social media themselves. So what this agency was going to be able to do for them was create amazing content, run their ads, run their TikTok, run their Instagram, do their Google ads as well, like actually have a whole package that completely supported an e-commerce product business ready to scale using digital marketing, right? As opposed to a startup product brand who just doesn't have the kind of ability to leverage a $9,000 a month retainer, right? So you can work with any client that you want to, but if you're able to identify which type of client values what you do the most, then you can actually design programs, retainers, offers that actually match what they're looking for. So we came to the 9K a month by really building out like what would be the most amazing thing that we would want to offer for this type of client? What would we include? What would they get benefit from? What would be the outcome for them? And then we were able to move backwards from there to price it. So I hope that helps. It's all about who the client is and whether or not they can actually use or get value from what you're doing for them.
Wonderful. Questions around, this is one example, and there's a few questions like this. This is from Steve, who's got a new business offering editing services for podcasts and videos.
Love it.
Finding it hard to compete with freelancers on sites such as Fiverr, Upwork that offer similar services at seemingly impossibly low prices. How can you compete?
Yes. Okay. Again, what kind of branding or marketing have you done? Have you thought about who your ideal client is? So thinking about who it is that is going to be able to like make use of a really professional podcast editor, right? So I have a podcast myself. I would never outsource that to an international person because I don't have the time to manage that. I don't have skills in podcast editing. So for me, the value for me working with a local editor, which is what I do, is that I know she's an expert and I don't have to then have any of my brain occupied with what's happening with the editing and production. I can just show up, record into a microphone, and then she takes it from there. So I think it's about understanding what kind of podcaster you want to work with. Is it an established podcaster? Is it somebody who's about to launch a podcast, but they're a very established business owner? Somebody who's just wanting to work with people just starting a podcast who don't have an audience, they don't have any money. So you don't want to work with clients who don't have any money or aren't able to leverage what you can do. So yeah, really think about who the client is and how you can explain why they should work with you.
Right. Now, we may only have just one time for one last question, so I'm going to combine a couple here. There's a few questions around, for example, Martin's a laser engraver. Like, do I charge for total time for a custom order piece, or do I just pick what's a reasonable price? There's a few other questions about, do I charge a day rate? Do I charge an hourly rate? And I think this is like a really great sort of capture for our last question.
Yeah.
How do you go about
Love
that?
it.
Are we charging for
So
time or services?
yeah. So first of all, you can just pick a number out of thin air. I'm giving you permission. Everybody on this call, you can pull a number out of thin air if you want to. But a better way of thinking about it is to say, what kind of service do I want to offer? So I really want to offer this custom engraving service. And if I had the perfect client in front of me, this is what they would want me to do. How many of those could I do a week? Or how many of those could I do in a year? And what kind of income do I want to be making in my business across a year? Then you can work backwards to say, well, how many custom engraving jobs would how many could I do? And therefore, what would I need to charge to get to my number? Another thing that you can do is look at something that's not the same kind of product, but it's a similar kind of exchange for your customer. So what are people charging for customized jewelry? Or what are people charging for customized I don't know, award printing. Like, I'm not exactly sure what your engraving service does, but like, what are the competing ways that somebody could get a similar outcome and what are they charging? As for time versus material, it doesn't matter whether you charge a day rate, an hourly rate, whether you charge hour plus materials, as long as the amount you're charging is high enough. If you're charging an hourly rate, increase it every year. If you're charging a day rate, increase it every year. If you're charging a fixed fee, increase it every year. So I don't care what the basis of it is, just make sure that you continue to increase it over time.
Wonderful. Thank you, Fee. And I appreciate so many questions come through, and I've done my best to capture the ones that will help as many people as possible. But obviously, we can't get through all of them. Thank you so much for such an informative session. I know you have not been watching the chat, so you can focus on it. But a lot of big thank yous for how practical your session was today, um, and how many things you can take away from this call. And I think the big lesson here is increase your prices and make it easier for people to find you and know why you're different in that premium service.
Yeah, I
Uh,
love it. The final thought is you can put whatever price you want onto your thing, but your customer is the one that gets to say yes or no. So think about how can I actually get into their world and explain how this is right for them, because that's how you're going to get the yes.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Fee. And I know
My
a lot
pleasure.
of these lessons are in your podcast and your Good Money Club. And for those asking about slides, unfortunately, we can't share the slides, but you do get a copy of the recording. It'll be sent to you by Thursday by 5 p.m. So you can go through and capture any extra slides. We just didn't have the time to go back and capture them all because we had a lot of requests for different slides to come through.
Thank you for
Just a
wrangling the
reminder,
chat,
yeah,
Kate, too.
our last session for the year is next week. It's SEO with Lauren Fraser. Make sure you sign up for that. And yes, Fee, thank you so much for today.
My pleasure.
Gems.
Thank you. Thanks,
Thanks,
everybody.
everyone. Bye.